Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about domain and range. Alright, so I'm sure that you remember domain and range from, I guess, the olden days when we got to be in person. But let's go over some keywords real fast just to get you back up to speed. The first word is finite. A finite means an exact value. I can have a finite number of jelly beans in my hand. The opposite of finite is infinite, which is unknown and kind of goes on forever. Number of grains of sand on the beach or stars in the sky, that kind of a thing. Discrete means pieces. So in a graph, a piecewise function with the little pieces of lines looks like a stair step or something. That would be discrete little pieces. Continuous means it keeps going on. Smooth line, no breaks. And an interval is a piece of something without a break. We're going to be using all of these words in this 1-1 lesson. Quick reminder, with our open and closed circles, an open circle means a value is not included. So it doesn't have the line under the equal to. And if you're talking about our interval notation, it's the curvy parentheses. And a closed circle means that we are including the value. So that's got the equal to bar under our inequality symbols. And for our interval notation, it'll be these square brackets. All right, so for the purposes of what we're going to be talking about, a little foreshadowing, inequality uses less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. Intervals use these kind of weird bracket things. So we have the parentheses, and we also have the square brackets that we can use for intervals, and they mean different things. And set notation looks like an inequality, but it's got kind of the curly brackets, and it's got X and this big vertical line. So let's start talking about using intervals through these problems. So here, number line, pretty simple. This number line is all numbers that are less than -1. So to write that in interval notation, what we're going to be putting is that, oh, it's already an interval. Geez, Mr. Clark, read the paper. The inequality would be X is less than -1. Notice the interval notation here. It says -infinity to -1. So this regular parentheses here means I don't know what infinity is, so I can't include it. But we know that going this way, going to the left, it goes on forever. It goes on to -infinity. On the right way, we know it stops at -1 because right here stops at -1. However, it does not include -1, which is why we use the regular parentheses. Set notation, curly bracket X, such that, this bar is read as such that X is less than -1, close curly brackets. So let's look at one that's a little more complicated. So here we have numbers between -3 and 6. So it says X is greater than -3 and X is less than 6. Interval notation. Notice how we don't have the equal bars here. So we have the regular parentheses here. And our set notation is going to be, let me zoom in, curly brackets, X such that, and then our inequality, which was -3 is less than X is less than 6, close curly brackets. Now let's take a look at the next one. So we have -2 to forever. So X is greater than or equal to, notice how it's filled in, -2. So our interval notation here, we know it starts at and includes -2, and it goes on to infinity, but I don't know what infinity is, so I don't know if I can include it. I'm going to give it a smooth parentheses. And our set notation, just like before, I'm going to do curly brackets, X such that X is greater than or equal to -2, close curly brackets. All right, let's check this one out. Looks like we're going between 12 and up to 20. So we're going to say, I'm sorry, 13. Geez, I promise I can read a number line. So x is, let's see, greater than or equal to 13. And it is going to be less than 20. So 13 to 20. Includes 13, doesn't include 20. Okay. And then I'm zooming in so my handwriting is not completely atrocious. Curly brackets x such that we go from 13 to x to 20 and close curly brackets. All right, but Mr. Clark, what if it's not on the number line? Not much really changes. So let's look at this beautiful parabola. If we look at it going to the left, my domain, my side to side, this keeps going to the left forever. So my domain starts, or it goes to negative infinity as I go more negative. As I go more positive, it goes positive infinity. So it keeps on going forever to the left, it keeps on going forever to the right. My range is a little different. My range stops at 0, and it includes 0 because 0 squared, right? We know that value. So my range is going to be, I know the least is 0, and it keeps going upwards, so it goes to positive infinity. What's my inequality here? Same thing. It's negative infinity. Let's see if I can make all these in this little tiny space. X, and then to positive infinity. My range is a little different because it's anything greater than 0, so I can just say my range, y, is greater than 0. Greater than or equal to 0, I'm sorry. And set notation, this is going to be a bit of a squeeze, isn't it? Curly brackets, x such that negative infinity and x and positive infinity, and close my curly brackets. Y is going to look much the same. My range here is going to be y such that y is greater than or equal to 0. Pretty straightforward. How about this super fun one that's next? Let's look at the interval notation. My domain, as I'm going left, still negative infinity. My domain as I'm going right, still positive infinity. My range, what do you think the range is here? I don't think it ever gets to 0. It looks like it approaches 0. So we're not sure if it includes it, but it seems to be 0. And then it goes up into forever. Cool. My inequality for this is going to be negative infinity and x and infinity. The range will be from 0, y, positive infinity. Pretty straightforward. And the set notation is more or less just copying the inequality. Curly bracket x such that negative infinity is less than x is less than positive infinity. Close curly brackets for our domain. And for our range, it'll be curly brackets y such that 0 is less than y is less than infinity. Close curly brackets. So that is domain and range in a nutshell, using inequality, interval notation, and set notation.